quick product review for this little gadget that I'm wearing on my wrist. This is called the Polar Loop, and it is supposed to help me monitor my activity every day and make sure that I'm getting enough activity for somebody of my age, height, weight, gender, and lifestyle. Now, I've been wearing this for 3 days to test it out. It came originally as a larger bracelet, larger loop, and I had to trim it down to my size. And they give you a little trimming tool to measure your wrist and see how far to trim it. Basically, it has all of these little holes. I don't know if you can see that the clasp apparatus can connect to, and those would have continued on both sides, but I cut off a bunch of them and reconnected the metal clasps just to where I needed it for my wrist. I tried using their little measuring tool. It didn't work for me, so I had to just go very slowly, trimming 1 or 2 segments at a time until I got it to where it felt right for my wrist. Then I used this connect on the back. There's a little magnetic connect where you put a wire that it comes with, and it leads out to a USB. That USB you connect to your computer and download a program called Polar Flow, which is free on the net, and that is the software that you will use to enter your personal data for the bracelet and to sync the bracelet at the end of every day, or whenever you want to, really. What I've found is that I take the bracelet off and charge it overnight. With 100% charge, you can easily go all the way through the day. Basically, I've been going down to maybe at the lowest 70% charge for a day's use, and then I plug it back in at night. I don't leave it plugged into my computer to charge, although it does charge through your computer if you're hooked up by USB. But what I do is I connect the same cord into I have a little plug-in in my wall that I use for my iPhone that has a USB insert, and I just plug it into that, and it seems to charge really fast. Alright, so once you download the software, which is called the Polar Flow, I believe, it's going to ask you a series of questions about yourself. And the main data that it works off of is your gender, your age, your height, your weight, and lifestyle. And by lifestyle, it's basically has 3 different categories. It has a category for whether you spend most of your day sitting, or whether you spend most of your day standing, or whether you spend most of your day moving. I entered in that I spend most of my day sitting because I do spend a lot of time in my vehicle commuting, and then I work in my office. But what I'm finding is that the goal that it set for me based on these measurements might not be enough of a goal for me. I don't know. I haven't figured out a way that I can set my own goals for the day, like my own objectives for how much activity I want to do for the day. I haven't figured out how to do that yet in the software, if you can even do it. I don't know that you can. But it calculates, based on that data, what I need to do, and then throughout the day you can monitor yourself on here. It keeps track of, I think, 4 or 5 things. Let's go through them. It's got a little button. The button doesn't stick out or anything. This is one of the features I like about this. It's just a really plain bracelet. It's very sleek, black. It goes with anything, and it doesn't have a lot of pieces that are going to catch on anything, that kind of thing. So for most of my activity, I can wear this. If I'm doing partnered martial arts training, with someone else that's going to be grabbing my wrist or something like that, or blocking in my wrist, then I got to take it off. But for most of my activity, I can wear it. I can wear it, running, jogging, hiking, doing solo martial arts training, rucking around. I can wear it. It's submersible. You can swim with it. And I found that it monitors activity, not absolutely accurately, but it seems like it monitors it fairly accurately. For instance, this morning I did a 2-hour training session in martial arts, where I did, the first hour was probably mostly combat drills and techniques. There was some nunchuck training, some stick training, and then I did a half hour of total body fitness with dumbbells, and then a half hour of stretching. So that's a 2-hour training session, which is, I think that's a good session for a day. If you can do that every day, you're gonna be keeping yourself in good shape physically. That's not talking the nutritional side, but physically that's pretty good. 2 hours of training a day, and that doesn't include a lot of intense cardio, but it's some cardio and it's some strength and flexibility and balance training, all this kind of stuff. Anyway, I think that 2-hour session is good as a goal to do every day, and that just so happened to be the exact amount of activity that I needed to reach my goal for the day. I did that this morning. When I was done with the training, I checked out what it was saying about how I was doing for meeting my objective for the day, and it said, I think it said I gotta either run for 2 minutes or walk for 10 minutes or do something standing up for a half hour, something like that. So I just did a quick few minutes of jump roping, and so I met the objective within the 2 hours. Okay, so I'll show you how it looks when you're checking out, when you're monitoring yourself. So I push this little button here, and it tells you the activity, and for me now it's going to say that I met my goal, that kind of a thing. I hope you could see that. But anyway, if I hadn't met my goal, what it'll show me is a bar chart, and it'll show me how much activity I've done already on that bar chart and how much I still have to go. And then it'll tell me to meet the rest of my objective, I need to either run for this many minutes or walk for this long or do something standing up for this long. So those are the 3 things it'll suggest to you, and you can get an idea of how much training you have left to do. So that is the activities. Now if I go to, go to the next thing that it monitors, calories. So it'll tell me how many calories I burned for the day, how many steps I've taken, physical steps, and what time it is. And then I think it goes back to the activity. So that's it. That's what it really can tell you right off your wrist, is how you're doing for meeting your daily objectives, how many calories you've burned, and it's just a ballpark. It's not totally accurate, of course. How many steps you've taken, same thing. It's kind of trying to figure it, but it's not going to be totally accurate. And the time, so it does function like a watch too. So those are the things it monitors here, but once you sync it to your computer, there's all kinds of other things that you can see. It really breaks down. It's got like a pie chart, and it shows you where you were most active and least active. It's got several different categories of activity and stuff, and it shows you how the activity was broken up throughout your day and that kind of a thing. And you can keep notes in there. You can keep like a little journal, and it shows you for the week how good you're doing, for each day how good you're doing. You can it monitors your progress and this kind of a thing. The software is pretty cool. And so, so far, playing with this, I'm kind of enjoying it. There are some drawbacks, and I'm going to tell you about the drawbacks. Number one, I guess, is that the unit is not completely living up to the idea that it's based off of. And it's pretty clear to me that the idea behind this unit is that this is a tool of the future, a fitness tool of the future. And basically that what we're looking for is something like this, very simple, that you can strap on your wrist, that's going to monitor all kinds of things about your fitness, and that you can keep track. You can keep track of your activities and your nutrition and your heart rates and your body fat and your weight and all kinds of stuff, just off of something really simple that you wear on your wrist. That's the idea that's going for here, and this is like a first step in that direction. But it's not there yet. The technology is not there yet. So, for instance, I took a walk last night, a ruck march in the coulees, and I was hauling 35 pounds of extra weight, and I was going up and down, extreme changes in altitude, and I do not think that this device, well, I'm sure that it cannot measure, it cannot factor in that I was carrying weight, but I'm also pretty certain that it wasn't factoring in the altitude change, nor how much physical exertion it really was for me. Now, to be fair for this product, you can purchase heart monitors by Polar and sync the heart monitors with this unit, and then you can get more detailed data regarding how much you're actually working during your physical activities. But for me, I really don't want to wear some device around my chest, some heart monitor device. What would have been nice is if they made something like this that can read your heart rate straight from your wrist, but apparently the technology is not there yet, or at least they're not employing it, or haven't figured out a way to employ it on your wrist so that it's all in one inclusive unit and you don't have to sync it with a heart monitor. That would be nice. It's not there yet. And as a result of it not being there yet, it cannot accurately measure your activity. It just gives, like I said, it just gives kind of like a ballpark what it figures you're doing. And it seems to be fairly accurate. If I look at, once I sync it with my computer and I look through my day and where was the intensity of activity and this kind of a thing, it seems to be pretty accurate in gauging the strenuousness of the activity that I'm engaged in and monitoring what I'm doing and stuff. It is fairly accurate, but it's not spot on accurate. Nor is it spot on accurate, of course, then about the number of calories that I'm burning, the energy that I'm using. Another drawback to it is that there is no way yet to enter in nutritional data into the whole equation, and that's a big oversight because in terms of fitness, nutrition is, I would say, at least half of the whole picture of your fitness, of your personal fitness. So if you can't factor in nutrition, you're missing a whole lot of data, and so that makes the stuff that you're logging in the software, only a fraction of the picture, maybe a quarter of the picture of your actual fitness life. This thing can kind of monitor, but the rest of it, no, not the nutrition and not the very accurate measurements of the particular the particular exercises that you're doing. If you're doing weighted exercises, if you're doing something really strenuous, if you're doing, I haven't tried just like weightlifting with it yet, just to do just pure strength training with free weights kind of a thing, and see if it knows or has a sense of how much physical exertion I'm utilizing doing those things. I haven't tried it yet. I will probably try it this week and see how it does, see whether it's accurate. I was surprised to find that it was as accurate as it was at knowing when I was doing something like nunchuck training, and being able to measure that as meeting part of my daily objective. But yeah, so it's not really a very accurate tool, but on the upside, it does give you something toward that direction, toward that futuristic gadget that is going to be able to help you monitor and measure what you're doing every day. And I like that. I like that idea. I think it would, for a lot of people, add to the motivation for the day. You know, if you can see how much you got left to do and that kind of a thing, and you can try to meet it, and you got this little reminder on your wrist all day long. Come on, let's get some physical activity in so I can meet my objective for the day. I think that'll help a lot of people. Personally, like, I could give or take it. I might not have bought it for myself, but this was a gift, and I think it was a nice gift, and so I'm going to give it its fair shot and see if I get kind of hooked on using it or not, and if it helps me, if it helps motivate me to be more active and to be meeting some kind of standard every day, then that's a good thing. And if it doesn't help me, then I'll find out. It's too early to say. Right now it's 3 days in, and I'm enjoying it. I'm enjoying playing with it, but I recognize that it's not accurate, and that's a problem for me, because I kind of like get obsessive compulsive or something like that, and if it's not accurate, then I got issues with it. At the same time, though, at least it's something, and it's more accurate than I originally suspected it was going to be, so that's not too bad. The other drawback that I seen was they do have a Polar Flow iPhone application that you're supposed to be able to sync this to as well using Bluetooth, so that you can see those charts and stuff on your phone anytime during the day without connecting this by wire to your laptop or computer or what have you. What I found was I download the application, I tried to sync it with this unit, it won't sync. Well, it doesn't find the unit. Something's wrong. My Bluetooth is turned on my phone. I do wake up the unit by pressing the button and getting stuff moving. It doesn't find it, and it doesn't sync. And so I think something's actually wrong with this particular unit. You know, maybe the Bluetooth in it or whatever, why it's not being located by my phone. I've read online that I'm not the only one having that problem. People tend to have problems syncing it with one thing or the other. Some people are able to sync it with their phone but not their computer. Others are able to sync it with their computer but not their phone. So I think something in the manufacture of these has a little kink to be worked out, where the syncing issues need to be fixed right now. At least I'm able to link it with my computer, and that really I believe has the more thorough software anyway, so I'm happy with that. Although it would be nice, given that the functionality is supposed to be there, if I could also use it with my iPhone. I'm not able to. Okay, so would I recommend the product to purchase or not? I think it all depends. If you're someone who keeps a pretty healthy fitness regimen all the time, regardless, I don't think you need it. I think wait for the technology to improve. On the other hand, technologies don't improve if we don't invest in the little steps along the way. So in one sense, I'm kind of happy to have this because I know that it's leading to bigger things down the road, better equipment down the road. Who I think should buy it or might want to try it are those who are kind of struggling to keep a daily fitness regimen, because it's a reminder. It's on your wrist and it's telling you all day long. You can tap on the button and it's going to tell you need to do this much more activity today. So I think that can be a beneficial thing. That could be a huge motivator for somebody who is just not getting enough activity. And I think even for those who are, it might be a fun toy to play with. But for those who are really into fitness, it's going to be a frustration for you, like it is for me, that the measurements are not completely accurate. So yeah, I guess I would recommend it for some people. A stronger recommendation, I guess, for some people than for others. I wouldn't say that if you don't buy this, you're missing out on some really important thing in today's fitness technology. You're not. You can definitely live fine without it. It is in a way extra overkill that especially because it's not totally accurate, really doesn't have that much function except as a potential motivator. So that's my product review of it. I know that there are other companies like Nike, I know, make something similar, and there's some others that make similar units. I haven't tried any of those. This is the first such tool that I've tried, Polar Loop, and it's pretty good. It's a step in the direction toward a real cool measurement tool in the future.